marriage, and the men, the kids, will start to depend on her for that. But then she's not getting the healing and the help that she needs. And I've had many women say, after a while, I feel like I've got 3 kids, my 2 kids and him. I'm a mother to all of them. And that robs her of her sexuality, of her feeling like a sexual being. Mm-hmm. So in both counseling and life coaching, depending on the extreme of the issue, it's real helpful to have somebody else step in and do some of that work for her. Kind of alleviates that process.
And when you say do work for her, what is the work that you're doing?
Working with her partner, her husband, whatever it may be. Oftentimes, this is a big complaint. Men will feel very overwhelmed at work and will come home and they're not really able to cope. They don't have a lot of coping mechanisms in place for them. So they'll sit in front of the TV and not really be very helpful. And meanwhile, the wife is, what's wrong? You look tired. Again, she's in his head. Plus, she's trying to take care of the kids, and she's getting dinner on the table. And when she says, "Can't you help me?" he'll say, "I'm just too tired." And if it gets pushed and pushed a little bit more, sometimes couples can get stuck, and they end up kind of, one feels very angry and one feels very blamed.
And when you said the guys come home, they'll have coping mechanisms or coping skills. Do you teach your clients, male clients, coping skills?
I do, but oftentimes it's just helping them to identify that they are in fact stressed. That It's not that they're just tired or they have a headache or they really wanted to see the news, but in fact they're escaping because there's so much stress going on for them during the day.
Fatigue is a symptom of stress. Headaches is a symptom of stress.
Yeah. They don't know that, so it's kind of helping them identify that.
Sure. And then, so what are some of the stress management skills or healthy coping skills you would recommend or encourage your clients to do?
With one, I'm thinking of one couple in particular because he was certain that all he wanted to do was come home, and he deserved it. He worked hard. He just wanted 15 minutes, but it was never 15 minutes. It was for the rest of the evening. And we got to a point where we got them, and this was hard for her, to reschedule the dinner hour. It didn't have to be as soon as the kids came home from soccer. It could be later. And in fact, somebody else could pick the kids up from soccer, and that they might come home, the husband and wife, and go for a walk. And talk about their day. And, men tend to think, oh, we're going to be doing this all night. So I'll say put a cap on it. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, everyone kind of puts it out on the table. And oftentimes I'll hear men say, just being able to tell her what's going on for me and to see that she really cares and can empathize is really healing for them. Because men tend to keep it inside, and women just end up pulling and tugging at him to get it out, and then that's kind of where they get stuck.
And do you think men are keep it inside and women tug and pull to get it out because we're just fulfilling roles or modeling what our parents did?
Certainly for men. I think they've not been encouraged, and maybe the new generation coming up, I don't have any sons, but I'm hoping, are going to feel more comfortable talking about feelings and talking about when they're scared or concerned about something. And the men, my generation, are reluctant to just come home and talk about that and share it. And so oftentimes wives feel like something's bothering you. I can tell.
I feel it makes me feel good when I can talk about it. Say like you get it off your chest.
Yeah. But oftentimes men will say, if I talk about it, I'll feel worse. I just want to forget it.
Well, I read somewhere it takes 3 things for a good relationship: passion, commitment, and intimacy. Mm-hmm. And intimacy is, I learned, I thought it was the physical relationship. No, intimacy is based on self-disclosure.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where a lot of the life coaching clients come in. They're functioning well, they're communicating well, but they want to bring their intimacy level up. They want to be able to feel, mostly the women want to feel more liberated, less inhibited, want to really be able to say what's on their mind and carry that over sometimes into the bedroom. And that takes sometimes a commitment to bring the communication style up a notch. And that's an issue I've worked on several times with clients to get them to feel just more comfortable doing something different. A lot of younger people, so different from when I think about my folks, but a lot of younger people are very much aware of the divorce rate, and they don't want to end up feeling bored. They don't want to feel stuck, and they are trying now to find ways to keep the excitement, not necessarily in the bedroom, but just between the two of them, not just get into ruts and habits.
Now, so what you're describing is a lot of relationship coaching.
Yeah.
And do you do coaching for people other than relationships, like career, finance?
No, I really, careers sometimes, and again, that will oftentimes maybe be helping somebody, young people, identify what it is they want, because that's where people get stuck. A lot of young people have been told you can't do that. You're never going to make a living at that, so they kind of shut that down. Or if it's to do with a relationship with a boss or a coworker. But I don't deal with the business aspect of it or corporate coaching, that kind of a thing.
You just don't feel comfortable, or some other reason?
It's just not, it doesn't grab at me, it doesn't call to me, so.
Yeah.
I love doing the work I do.
And what age do you think is a good time to start with coaching?
Depending on the issue, if it's a career issue and someone's feeling they're confused as to what they really want to do, then as soon as that arises, it would be a good time for them to get a coach.
Well, do you feel like coaching can be used as a preventive before a problem arises? Or someone doesn't even have a serious problem and yet just wants to do better?
Yes, I think that's the whole objective with coaching, is it's not a serious problem. It's just they realize that there's room for improvement and they just don't know how to get there.
Okay.
And that's where it's different from counseling.
Now, is coaching covered by insurance? Because a lot of people will say, will ask, can this insurance cover this?
Unfortunately not. Coaching is not. Counseling is covered. But coaching, and the coaching community wants to keep it that way. They're trying to keep all the regulations and such at a minimum so that there is more freedom and flexibility.
No, I didn't even know there is coaching regulations. What are the coaching regulations? And who sets those coaching regulations?
Well, there's the Coaching Federation, the International Coaching Federation, and there's people, coaches, who are devise different ways, testing and certification processes. But they're trying to keep a lot of the regulations out of it so that people can have more freedom to devise and customize their own way of being coached without the coach feeling like this could be a conflict of interest, or I could probably have a liability issue on my hands if I see them only over the phone. Or so they're trying to keep all that at a minimum.
Mm-hmm. And so do you coach clients over the phone?
A lot, yes.
And how long is a typical phone coaching session? We set them up for 30 minutes. Now, I'm a long talker, a big talker, so it's not unusual at all for us to go into 45 minutes. But I feel like any more than that, coaching is really just set up with a, boom, boom, look at it this way, try this, go back, do your pretend session, see what you come out, diary, journal, and then check in with me and we'll talk about it. They're really clients that are doing the work out there on their own.